this is a really good one. And this is one of the things you have to see. I can't really teach it, but if somebody can catch a concept here, this is really powerful. And this is, how I do it is I create moments for them to remember instead of leaving them with a book full of good ass notes. Right? So I'm going to give you guys an example, right? So create a moment for them to remember instead of relying on leaving them a book full of good ass notes. You know the people is like, yeah, so let's say the law of averages. Like, most people know this. I'm not going to teach it the way that I normally teach it, but I'm going to just give you guys an idea. Because I feel that, remember, there's 3 types of being a great trainer or a leader or something. It's expertise, relationships, and role, right? Now, law of averages is something that I hold dear as expertise, right? There's nobody in the company, including Jose, and Jose is the best of the best to me, in my opinion, the best trainer in this company. But there's certain things, and we should all have this, there's something things, whether if it's true or not, we should feel confident, like we're an expert at teaching this. So when I'm talking about creating a moment instead of relying on notes, here's what I mean. So the law of averages, it is, you knock on 120 doors, out of those 120 doors, you're going to make contact with 80 people. Out of the 80 people you make contact with, 10 of them are going to let you do the full presentation. Out of the 10 that let you do the full presentation, 4 or more are going to sign up, right? You knock on 120 doors, you're going to make contact with 80 people. Out of the 80 people you make contact with, 10 of them are going to let you do the full presentation. Out of the 10 that let you do a full presentation, 4 or more are going to sign up, right? So again, you knock on 120 doors, you're going to make contact with 80 people. What I'm doing right here, and I do this constantly and I keep doing it, what it's doing is, they're going to constantly remember this, right? And they're going to also feel, like if I would have kept going, you guys heard this so much, you guys are going to be like, yo, he's going to keep doing this shit again. That's what I want, right? I want for them to be like, yo, he keeps doing. Now you just got it. But it's also humorous at the same time because now I'm dragging it. So therefore, before they even, what's that law of averages again? He said, let me go to no, they're not going to go to their notes. This is something I feel passionate that even somebody who's terrible, if they understand the law of averages, they're going to be great. So yes, I am going to drag this out and create a mental moment that they will never forget. So then I go on the contingency. If the law of averages works, one out of every 10 people will be positive if you are positive, right? So I don't just say, so 1 out of every 10 people will be positive if you'll be positive, right? Now, when I'm writing this, I write everything small, but I make a big if. Everything else is small letters, but that if is big. That's the biggest part of the whole law of averages is 1 out of every 10 people will be positive if. So when I'm teaching that, I'm having them say it. So they'll be like, all right, so yeah, I get it. So 1 out of every 10 people will be positive if you make a, no. What is you doing? No. I'm going to do it again. 1 out of every 10 positive people will be positive if, and now they do that shit. What are they saying? Now they say, I get, okay. 1 out of every 10 positive people will be positive if, and then they stress on that if. That's something that's not on their notes. Volume cannot be put on notes. And that emphasis, that energy can't be put on notes. Right? So that's just an example of what I mean when I say create a moment as opposed to relying on a book full of good-ass notes. All right, I got 2 more. 2 more is one, when I'm training, I draw pictures. I draw really cool stick figures. Like really cool stick figures. And it's really bad. It's not like very nice, but there's always humor within the pictures that I draw. And from what I've learned through training is that pictures and people create it's something within the person that's learning. when you draw a person, although it's a stick figure, it's going to hit a little bit different because now they're able to relate to it a little bit different. As opposed to just putting words, you draw a little stick figure or even a smiley face on there, you're going to see, you won't see it, but you'll feel the impact of drawing it. They're going to think it's fun, and sometimes if I have a girl with a bun, I'm putting a bun on the stick figure. She got her hair laid down like a Asani. I'm drawing, the hair like that. They got glasses like Ed. I'm throwing glasses. I'm looking back at them like I'm an artist or something, and I'm trying to draw them. Boom. And so you draw those, draw pictures. That really makes an impactful training. And also, along with drawing pictures, you want to use really good and bad stories. Real stories that are in your office. The good ones you want to use by saying a name. Like, for example, when I'm talking about rebuilding and being able to do this thing is so simple. You can start from the bottom, get to the top, then something happens. So I'm using Ketura. Boom. They don't even know that Ketura ain't here. I just did a leaders meeting on this. I love the fact of leadership because I know that most people do stay in this business because of me, but in most cases, not because of me. It's because of the people that I love and that I utilize. I'm like an alchemist. If we read the book Alchemist, I could create my own situation. So I'm doing a good story with either someone in my office that they're in orientation. So whoever I say, they're going to be anticipating to meet that person. Now, the good thing when you're using someone outside of your office, and you're doing this intentionally and strategically, it's not just doing it. You got to do it with the end goal in mind. So if I'm doing it in my office, yeah, they're excited. They're like, oh, who's this? I wonder who did. Now they're listening for that name when they go back out. But then with someone that's not in my office, like let's say Ketura, guess what they're anticipating? They're anticipating the next event. Right? They're anticipating. Now I got a little bit of retainment sprinkled in there because now what are I keep talking about the same shit. Now Ketura is like big. Asani's big. Shaggy's big. Sabrina's big. Steph is big. Sabrina's big. Parrots is big. Ace is big. Tyrone is big. Right? Now they're anticipating. Like, damn, I got this. I can't quit yet. Because I didn't meet. I'm going to hold on to it just until I get to this conference. Because what they say is you judge your business, you can judge the growth of your business from event to event. So I just want them to get there. So I'm going to use whatever I can, and that's a tactic that you use. Use it for people in your office. You also use it for people not in your office, right? And then for the bad, you also want to use bad examples as well. When you're using bad, you don't necessarily want to use names, but you do want to give examples. Like if I'm going over compliance, I'm talking about I've seen people get fired because of doing fraud. So these 4 compliance principles, I need you guys to get this. We have too much freedom in our industry. But these 4 things, we have to. They said we have to follow these 4. And I know this person, no matter how many people I teach in orientation, somebody's going to get fired. But you don't want it to be you. So give a bad example too. So now they're, again, anticipating to strictly attend and adhere to these 4 compliance principles. All right. So it's 9:26, right? I'm gonna wrap it up here. So what did we do? We talked about, and I showed you guys print, signature, nothing wrong with just copying, right? But bringing your own flavor to it, right? I also spoke about, what else did I speak? I spoke about the keys. The main thing is that I know the end result the night before I start. I talked about preparation, the importance of practice, bringing the energy that you want in the room. Don't gel with the energy in the room. I talked about being proactive in your preparation to possible questions and ideas or concepts that they may have. I talked about creating moments as opposed to relying on them having notes, like some good notes. Talked about the impact of drawing pictures, using stick figures. Talked about using real and bad stories that are in your office, also company-wide. And again, subliminally in the beginning, I did start it off with record this shit. That was the bonus that I had. It's just like every once in a while, let them know, like, yo, y'all better record this. Matter of fact, yo, sometimes I'll give somebody the phone, like, yo, here, record this real quick. Make it like a thing, and they know. And sometimes when the agents are doing their workshops or sales impact, they'll be like, yo, this shit is, this about to be fire. This about, yo, and they'll say it because now we're anticipating, and you gotta deliver. If you say that shit, you gotta deliver, and it's gotta at least have some impact. It gotta have some substance to it, so that you're not just saying, don't say it and you're gonna wing that shit. You know what I mean? You might as well say, yo, I'm about to wing this shit, y'all. I'm about to wing it. No, but if you really prepared, you practice, do all those things, every once in a while, let them know. Give them some anticipation and put yourself on a little bit of pressure as well to actually deliver a good message. So, yeah, that's it. That's my, hope y'all got something. Let's get it.
That was fire, D.
Oh my gosh, I was about to say, can we get a moment of silence because we could kill that shit right there? Everyone have a round of applause. I know time is of the essence, but I would love to get at least one takeaway from every person that is on the call. Please and thank you. Starting with you, Ketura, since he loves you so much.
Yeah. I definitely got some juice from this whole meeting here. These sheets, I take a lot of notes. I got a whole bunch of notes, right, which is great. It's so many, but what I'm going to say is my biggest takeaway. I like a lot of them, to be honest, but when you just actually said create a moment for agents to remember and not have to always write something down to remember. So I remember sitting in orientation training, how I started, right? Learn orientation from sitting in for these sheets. And you would do that. Oh yeah! And I'm like, what the hell did he do? He did about 15, 20 times. That's what you was doing. And guess what? I didn't know what you were doing, but I took it. I could say it. I'm like, oh yeah! I didn't know why. But now I can attach the class. I know what you're doing now, and it makes sense. So thank you for that.
That's right. What about you, Austin? What did you get from this meeting?
What really stood out with me was bring the energy that you want in the room, don't jump into negative events.
Just my ass.
Create what you want to be around.
Fire. Love it. Tyrone, how about you?
There was a lot of good points, but the biggest point that I had, the one that stuck out to me the most, is the saying, there's nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you're copying the right cat. Like, I really love that. I think it says a lot, especially when people come in and they're trying to reinvent the wheel, they're trying to do their own thing. But that just sums everything up. Like, as long as you can follow that right person, there's nothing wrong with just following the path that's already been laid out. So that was big to me. I like that.
Just by that. Thanks, Ty. What about you, E?
It was two for me. I like practice. It was a simple point, but I love that you touched on it. And I love create moments for the candidates to actually remember instead of just having a book full of notes. I think that was fire because when I hear you speak, when I hear people public speak, I'm looking for moments. Those moments. So I definitely love that, and I wanted to implement that in my orientation.
I love it. Just for that. What about you, Sam?
So yeah, everything that you guys said, and then something else that people weren't talking about was just making sure you know the end result beforehand. Because I'm very similar to you, Demetrius, where I will say things in my head or out loud before I have the conversation, before I teach someone something, and it definitely shows because it helps because of the fact that people are able to tell that you're prepared, and preparation is what leads to success. But failure to preparation is preparing to fail. So I really like that part.
Cheers. And just a side note, Demetrius really does that. Like, if you tell him, like, hey, D, so we're gonna run this meeting, he'll start it. Like, so I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna open up. Like, okay, guys, so this is gonna be going on. Okay, practice on. Let's get the practice in. He literally does that, and I never really understood the concept behind it either. It makes sense now, 100%. What about you guys, Sabrina and Shaq? What were your takeaways?
My takeaway was knowing the possible questions certain meetings, especially for like orientation, retention wise, like Demetrius was saying, you know, you don't want to get thrown off by a question that they may have. And if you didn't possibly think about that question when you were planning, it's going to throw up your whole meeting after that. Now you're over there stuttering in front of them. Now you look like you're not sure of your answer, and they're like, what? Okay. So that was my biggest takeaway, and also just setting the tone in the room. You know, definitely bring the energy that you want, and don't settle for the energy that, you know, the guys may have, because if you run the meeting correctly, you know, the guys of a higher caliber, those are the guys that you want to stick the most. And you want to give them what they need, just like before what Ogo used to say is, you know, if you feed people steak, you know, that's what they're always going to be hungry for. You feed them McDonald's, they're going to be hungry for McDonald's. So, definitely
Mine was, you guys took all the big ones, by the way. But mine is a little more simple, and I think Demetrius said this one, hit home a little bit for me. It's just, you know, volume and emphasis can't be noted, especially when you're a really energetic person. You like to give it, you know, kind of give people as much as you can. Want to make sure those moments, those ifs, and those what's next, and, you know, give all of that energy, because those are the moments that they're going to remember, not the notes.
Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and just, you know, give yourselves a round of applause. It was definitely a great meeting. And I'll say this just to close us out, unless there's anything else. The stuff that we have right here is gonna make our office a lot better, make our trainings a lot better if we use them. Right? The stuff that we have right here on this paper right now will make our trainings a lot better if we use them. I said again, the trainings that we got today is going to make our orientation a lot better if we use it. The training that we got today is going to make our orientation better if we use it. The training that we got today is going to make our orientation better if we use it. Just like that?
Yes.
Like how I use that? There you go, right? Setting the tone already. So thank you guys. Hopefully everybody got something really, really good out of this meeting. Super proud of you, G. That was amazing. And that is all we have.
One thing, guys, real quick. Two things on Chronos.
Yes.
One is, remember that we got some feedback for some people on the feedback survey that we did, or just regarding Chronos. They're saying that they're putting in Chronos PTO time, but the managers aren't approving that. So make sure that if your agents do have access to Chronos, which they should, if they're using Chronos, so we don't know who this came from, so just putting it out there, came from an agent in one of the offices. They're all anonymous, the surveys, feedback forms. So the feedback was they're putting in Chronos and managers are not approving their Chronos time. So remember, reps can put in Chronos PTO requests, and we need to monitor them and approve those PTO requests.